Hi Aries, I want to welcome you to Yellow Cardinal Tarot with me. My name is Carol, and this is going to be a mid-month check-in for you for July 2025. And in today's reading, we're going to be looking at specifically a pattern that's showing up in your life for healing right now. And patterns are very important because they tell us a lot. And in particular, they tell us that we need some healing in a certain area in our life. So if you're finding that you're attracting the same people in your life, certain situations are coming up again, when you're recognizing that over and over certain emotions are coming up, or maybe you're not even sure what's coming up, but it's just like, oh, here we go again, same issue, same problem, same situation. It really is an area that we need healing, because in number 2, I'm going to be looking at what aspect from your shadow is driving this pattern. And believe it or not, it is our unconscious, our shadow, that is manifesting the majority of the patterns in our life, because that is, the universe's way of showing us what needs healing in our life. It's like this trigger over and over again that keeps coming up. And then finally, I'm going to look for some advice from the tarot as to how you can begin to heal this pattern, because remember that this healing journey is a process and that we're all on. It's a process, and we heal this a little bit at a time. I'm not here to offer you some sort of miracle drug for you, but I will definitely ask the tarot for some advice as how you can start to begin. And so in today's reading, I'm going to be using the Curious Travels tarot deck, and then I'm going to be clarifying that with the Radiant Rider-Waite deck. So let's begin with a pattern that's showing up for you, Aries. One card for that, for your pattern in your life right now that's showing up for you. One card. Ooh, that one almost came out. I find that if I catch it, it's not meant to come out, but if I don't catch it and it makes its way out, it wants to come out. So there's your card on the floor. You have an 8 of Cups in reverse. Always like going to fetch those cards. What aspect from your shadow is driving this pattern? I always say to myself, what pants do you have on today? In case I've had my pajama bottoms on or something like that. And anyway, it's all right. Page of Cups in reverse for the aspect of your shadow that's showing up. I think at a certain point in life you stop caring, which is about those things. What advice does the tarot have for you to begin to heal this? So one card for that, please. And you have the 7 of Swords sideways. So we're going to talk about that one. So let's go with some clarifiers now. So tell me some more about this 8 of Cups, a couple cards for that. Oh, that one bent. Get me out of here. One more here. There we go. So we have a couple cards sideways. So you got the Wheel of Fortune, and then we have the Devil. Put those two underneath. And the Page of Cups. So there's one. And one more. All right, so you have the Temperance. Ooh, there's 2 more there. Temperance card in reverse. You have the 8 of Pentacles, and then this Hierophant card snuck out in reverse underneath that. So those are all in your shadow, in your unconscious, and this is what's manifesting the pattern that's showing up for you. 7 of Swords, couple cards. Tell me about this 7 of Swords. This is advice from the tarot. One more card here. Here we go. Okay, so we have the 6 of Pentacles in reverse and the 2 of Wands in reverse. as advice. Let's begin with the Eight of Cups, and this is the pattern that's showing up in your life right now. So the Eight of Cups in an upright position speaks about this individual that's walked away from these cups. And cups is all about our emotions. And, you know, I see this card as it's not someone that's walked away from their emotions. It's actually the opposite, where they've walked away because they realize that they need time out for themselves. And this is a real card of, if I had to pick one card out of the deck that really represents that period of the dark night of the soul, kind of, where you're just taking time out for yourself. Could be physically removing yourself from people, from places, from things, where you start to realize that I need to heal. I need to feel and pay attention to what's going on in my body. But it's in reverse here, and so there's some resistance or some real fear on your part to do that for some reason. And there's some clarifiers here, but I think you're quite aware that it's time. And maybe it's kind of like I heard time and time again, where you've got to that place in your life where it's like, I got to do something about this. And we do that. We go in cycles, right? Where it's just like, I got to go back into healing. I got to do this. Whether it's I got to go back to a therapist, or whether it's, normally if the Three of Pentacles shows up, that's my therapy card. But whatever it is, it's like, I got to go back to this because there's something here that's just eating away at me. And I think you recognize that you're pushing it away. And this Wheel of Fortune card came out sideways. And in an upright position, the Wheel of Fortune talks about life and how, you know, it reminds me of this Ferris wheel where you get on it and you stop because you have to let more people on, and then it stops again, let people off. And it's kind of like that, where things happen, circumstances happen in your life, things have changed. And I'm seeing here that this is in sideways. This card's sideways because, you know, there have been circumstances that have changed in your life. Maybe a few things have happened, and it's just brought it up again, right? It's brought that wheel going again, and it stops and it starts and it stops. But I mean, it keeps turning. It always turns, even though we seem to stop and get stuck. It starts again. So I'm wondering if this is you know, maybe gone through some stuck period and you're kind of like, oh, here we go again. And so this wheel wants to change. It's starting to come around again for you. And then you have the Devil card sideways. And again, it's like, so the Devil card represents these things that we're attached to, i.e. our addictions, what we use to distract ourselves, those addictions, those distractions that will numb our pain. And that's sideways here because I'm wondering if you've got to a point where you've realized that, you know what, I can continue to use my addictions, my distractions to numb out this pain. But we get to a certain point where it's like, not even that seems to work anymore, right? It's like, or we'll switch addictions, and maybe we can have a few addictions, you know, just to kind of numb that pain and prevent it from coming up. But I think you're realizing that, you know what, this is coming around again for me, and it's time that I look at this. And so that's the pattern right now that you're sitting with right now, Aries. And so what we need to do is we have to figure out, okay, what's making that pattern keep coming up over and over and over again? Because there's something that's sitting in your shadow that's saying, listen, Aries, you got to look at this. And so you have the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is, all my pages in my deck are our inner children. And I've been on my own intensive healing journey for 8 years now, and I know that I have more than one inner child. I know mainstream psychology likes to say we have just one, but you know, we have more, because we have different inner children that hold different emotions, different trauma, different memories. And this particular one is probably, of all the four pages of my deck, the 4 inner children, is the one that's going to cause the most chaos in our life. And so this is the one that needs healing. They all need healing. But this Page of Cups, because it causes the most chaos in our life, and I'll tell you why in a minute, we really got to pay attention to this one. And it's the one that needs healing, probably the most out of all our inner children, because it's our love seeker. And it has love backing them up. And it's that little part of you, that inner child, that needed desperately to be loved when they were younger, and they didn't get the love they wanted and needed, and the support and the validation. And so this little part will continue to wreak havoc in your life. It will call in toxic people, toxic relationships that will mimic the relationships that we grew up with, because it's trying desperately to get the love, and it only knows, because it's an inner child, and the memories that it has are the ones from our childhood, and so it only knows those relationships. And so that's the type that it's going to continue to keep calling in. And you're going to keep feeling, that rejection, and you're going to keep feeling that abandonment, same kind of things that you would have felt when you were younger. And it's so desperate, and it's blocked. It's sitting in your shadow because it needs healing, and it's almost like it's been grabbing at your pant leg for so long, saying, listen, I need you to pay attention to me. And you are the only one that can love this inner part of you now. It's like you need to reparent it. And so it needs healing. It has so many emotions that it holds. It holds a lot of our grief. It holds a lot of our, it can hold some anger too. Some shame. It holds these big emotions because it wasn't loved the way it needed to be loved when it was younger. And underneath that, you have Temperance, and the Temperance card comes out when it's like there's like a middle ground that's needed here, a process that's needed. And I think it comes out here to remind you that this love seeker requires a process to heal it. It is not a part of us that we can heal like this. And I talked about that because it's such a powerful part that it needs a real lot of attention giving to it. And I'm going to say, if like if I'm saying this right now and you're going, yeah, that's me. There's some, I have that part of me that's so desperate for love. And we get to a point when we have this love seeker out that we know that, wow, this is a part that's so desperate. I'm so desperate. I don't know why there's this part of me that's so desperate. And I think that's the point where you kind of go, I need some help for this, because it's a hard part, this part, to heal on our own. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles, and the Eight of Pentacles talks about this individual that is working away at, carving out these pentacles, but there's something behind the Eight of Pentacles that's really important to know, and that's the passion that goes into this individual's work. And I see here that buried in your shadow was your passion about doing a particular thing in life, your direction, your purpose. It's sitting right here in the middle underneath that. But I think this love seeker of yours is almost like, it's sitting on top of the Eight of Pentacles. It's almost like creating a block for you, a distraction, I'm going to say, and you're not seeing what's underneath it because it's out. And the Hierophant card comes in here, and it's in reverse. The Hierophant card in an upright position talks about this papal figure that's speaking to these disciples, and they're just, taking in what is told. They're like they're sponges, right? It's like anything you learn that you're passionate about, you can really you can become a sponge and just take it in because it's something you're passionate about. But I think when you were younger, there was a part of you that was wired, because this is really, the Hierophant card talks about how we were wired when we were younger. Like, just think about it, how our brains when we were younger were sponges, and anything people said to us, I mean, we took it in, right? And so there's a part of you here, and this is something that needs to be looked at, because it's in reverse here, because I think there's something in your shadow that says, you know, you were very passionate maybe about something. There's something there that you're very, very passionate about, but your wiring when you were younger kind of told you, you know, not to go towards that for some reason. Maybe, you know, it was things that you were told. And in fact, I know it's something that you were told, because you have the 7 of Swords right here for advice from the tarot. And so this is going to come back here, what I'm talking about, the things that you were told, the way that you were wired. You need to start paying attention to that. And so you've got a couple things going on here with your, you know, I'm going to say it's a little bit complex what's going on here, because you've got this inner part of you, that your love seeker, your inner child, one of them, that needs a tremendous amount of healing. And I think once you start to work on that, once you start to recognize, first of all, that's the main thing, is recognize that, yeah, I'm really desperate. There's a real desperate part of me that is out right now, that, you know, maybe it's got to do with your relationships. And we talked about that, about how, you know, you're numbing a lot of your pain. And our love seekers carry a tremendous amount of pain, and it's the pain of the love seeker that will drive us to call in toxic relationships and toxic people in our life. That seems to be the theme here that I'm getting on. But yeah, and so what's underneath that, and what you have to realize, is that there's gifts in your shadow. We have gifts in our shadow, but we also have, you know, the trauma of not being validated or loved when you're younger, but you have this passion. So I'm going to say you're a very passionate person, and there's something here for you. But, you know, the way that you were wired when you were younger, it's kind of, and what you were told has unfortunately led you into a different direction. So what's the advice from the tarot? And I said I was going to come back to the 7 of Swords right here. And the 7 of Swords in a sideways position says that, you know, I think that there's something here that you need to look at for sure. It's almost like it's going to be, you know, almost like it's done you in. But let me talk about what 7 of Swords is. And so 7 of Swords is what's called the Thief card. It's you know, individual. And here it's got this sly fox that is running away with 5 of these 7 swords right here. And, you know, in the Rider-Waite deck, I have this eyelash that's going to bug me for the next minute while I'm trying to finish this reading. So in the Rider-Waite deck, it talks about this individual that's running away, and you can see him run away, and he's got the swords in his hand. He's holding them by the points, and it's like, wow, that's so dangerous. Sword energy is our mental thoughts. It's our mental beliefs, things that people told you. So what was it that people told you when you were younger that you continue to believe about yourself? Maybe it's something in relationship to this passion that's buried underneath this love seeker. You know, what was it that you continue to say to yourself about, you know, the direction maybe you're supposed to go in? What did people tell you when you were younger that, you know, really taught you that you don't matter? When you do matter, but you need to believe that. Only you need to believe that, and you do that by reparenting this younger part of you. What does this younger part of you believe about yourself that people told you when you were younger that wasn't true? And as an adult, guess what? That's the way you were wired, and you continue to believe that. Underneath it is the 6 of Pentacles, and that tells me a lot about what you believe about yourself, because the 6 of Pentacles in an upright position talks about these two individuals begging for pentacles. And before they, you know, they first of all, when they go to beg, they think, okay, I think I'm worth 3 pentacles, so I'm going to ask for 3 pentacles. I mean, they wouldn't dare ask for 4 pentacles because they think they're worth 3. And so this is a card of really, you know, what do you think you're worth? Because whatever you're worth is what you're going to get. It's going to be measured out here. And it's going to be weighed, and that's what's going to be given to you. This is a card about giving and receiving. Whatever you put out there in the universe, whatever you think you're worth, whatever this little love seeker of yours thinks they're worth, well, that's what they're going to get, because that's what they've learned. That's the way they've been wired when they were younger, to get what people told you you were worth. And so this is a card, it's in reverse, because it really is, I think it's a card because of what this means. It's about her unworthiness. And it's in reverse because it's like, it's time that you take a look at this card and see what your unworthiness that you've been handed to you when you were younger is now spilling over in all areas of your life. And finally, you have this Two of Wands, and it's in reverse. But you know what the Two of Wands speaks about? And this is going to talk about this Eight of Pentacles, this passion card right here that I just can't seem to forget. Two of Wands speaks about someone getting a nudge to do something. Here's the Wands. That's the creative purpose. It's creative purpose can mean something simple as putting yourself first for once. It can mean something like, I want to do this. It could be, you know, people are going to look at you and go, who do you think you are, right? And that's what's going to happen. You're going to hear those messages that you were heard when you were younger, you know. Who do you think you are doing this? You can't do this. What? You want to do this? And that's what you're getting here. There's this Two of Wands, this little nudge. And right now you can't see it because this little love seeker will block it, because it really, the love seeker's out here because it helps to numb your pain. It was what it does. But there's something here for you, Aries. It's like, Aries, are you paying attention? There's a little nudge here that wants to take you into the direction of your passion, which is buried in your shadow. So this is a fascinating reading for you, Aries. I hope it resonates for you. I'm going to leave you with your July 2025 reading that I did for you. I want you to have compassion for yourself, especially for this little love seeker right here who needs your attention so much. It needs to tell you something. I use journaling to get in touch with my inner children who want to express how they feel, right? It's been wanting to tell you forever how they feel about being, you know, told they don't matter, about not getting the love that they desperately wanted when they were younger. And that's how I get in touch with them. So have compassion for yourself. This is the most important journey of your life. I know it's the most difficult one, but take care, and I will talk to you in August. Bye-bye.